Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Rise and shine, sleepyhead. The cheerful voice cut through the peaceful morning haze. Groaning, I rolled over and buried my face in the pillow, trying to cling to the last vestiges of sleep. But my girlfriend wasn't having it. Come on, we've got a big day ahead of us, Sarah chirped, yanking the covers off me. I shivered as the cool air hit my skin. 5 more minutes, I mumbled, making a half-hearted grab for the blanket. Sarah laughed, the sound like tinkling bells. No way, mister. I've got plans for us today, and they don't involve you lazing about in bed all morning. Sighing in defeat, I cracked open my eyes and squinted up at her. As always, the sight of her smiling face sent a flutter through my chest. Her long chestnut hair fell in soft waves around her shoulders, framing her heart-shaped face. Those mesmerizing green eyes sparkled with mischief. What kind of plans? I asked warily, sitting up and running a hand through my disheveled hair. Sarah's grin widened, taking on an almost predatory edge that made me nervous. It's a surprise, but trust me, you're going to love it. Somehow, I doubted that. Sarah's surprises had a tendency to push me way out of my comfort zone. Still, I could never say no to her. With a resigned sigh, I swung my legs over the side of the bed. All right, I'm up. Just let me grab a quick shower first. Perfect, Sarah clapped her hands together excitedly. I'll go make us some breakfast while you get ready. As she bounced out of the room, I couldn't help but smile fondly after her. For all her quirks and crazy ideas, I was hopelessly in love with that woman, even if she did have an annoying habit of dragging me into her schemes. 20 minutes later, freshly showered and dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, I made my way to the kitchen. The mouth-watering aroma of bacon and coffee filled the air. Sarah stood at the stove, humming to herself as she flipped pancakes. Smells amazing in here, I commented, coming up behind her and wrapping my arms around her waist. I nuzzled my face into her hair, breathing in the familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo. Sarah leaned back against me with a contented sigh. Figured you'd need a hearty breakfast to fuel you up for our adventure today. You gonna tell me what this big surprise is yet? I murmured against her neck, planting a soft kiss there. She squirmed away, laughing. Nice try, but you'll just have to wait and see. Now grab some plates. Breakfast is ready. We settled at the small kitchen table, digging into the delicious spread Sarah had prepared. As we ate, she chattered excitedly about work and her plans for the weekend. I listened with half an ear, my mind preoccupied with what she might have in store for me. When we finished eating, Sarah shooed me out of the kitchen. You go relax for a bit. I've got a few things to take care of before we head out. Shrugging, I wandered into the living room and flopped onto the couch. I flipped on the TV, absently channel surfing as I listened to Sarah bustling around in the other room. After about half an hour, she emerged with a large shopping bag in hand. Ready to go? She asked brightly. I eyed the bag suspiciously. What's in there? You'll see, Sarah sing-songed, already heading for the door. Come on, let's hit the road. With a mix of curiosity and trepidation, I followed her out to the car. As we drove, Sarah kept up a steady stream of light conversation, deftly deflecting my attempts to pry more information out of her. Finally, after about 20 minutes, we pulled into the parking lot of a small strip mall on the outskirts of town. Sarah practically bounced out of the car, grabbing her mysterious shopping bag from the back seat. I trailed after her, looking around in confusion. There wasn't much here, just a few small businesses and a lot of empty storefronts. Where exactly are we? I asked as Sarah led me toward one of the shops. She flashed me a secretive smile over her shoulder. You'll see in just a minute. We came to a stop in front of a narrow storefront with blacked-out windows. A small sign above the door read, Transformations in flowing script. Before I could ask what kind of business this was, Sarah was going inside. A bell chimed softly as we entered. I blinked, my eyes adjusting to the dim lighting. The interior was small but tastefully decorated, with plush armchairs and delicate side tables scattered about. One wall was lined with floor-to-ceiling mirrors. "Sarah, darling." A tall, statuesque woman with platinum blonde hair glided toward us, arms outstretched. "So wonderful to see you again." "Cassandra," Sarah embraced the woman warmly. "Thank you so much for fitting us in on such short notice." "Anything for my favorite client," Cassandra purred. Her gaze fell on me, sharp blue eyes assessing me from head to toe. "And this must be the lucky boyfriend I've heard so much about." I shifted uncomfortably under her scrutiny. Nice to meet you." Cassandra's ruby-red lips curved into a knowing smile. "Oh, the pleasure is all mine, I assure you. Sarah has told me all about your little, project." Alarm bells started going off in my head. I turned to Sarah, who was practically vibrating with excitement. "Babe, what's going on? What project?" She grabbed my hands, eyes shining. "Remember how we were talking the other night about trying new things? About pushing boundaries and exploring different sides of ourselves?" A sinking feeling settled in my stomach as hazy memories of that conversation floated back. We'd had a few bottles of wine that evening, and Sarah had started going on about gender expression and fluidity. In my alcohol-addled state, I'd agreed that it might be fun to experiment a little. "Oh no," I groaned, realization dawning. "Sarah, you can't be serious." "Oh, but I am," she squealed, bouncing on her toes. "I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I finally worked up the courage to book this appointment. Cassandra is going to help transform you into the most gorgeous girl." I gaped at her, then at Cassandra, who was watching our exchange with clear amusement. You want to dress me as a woman?" Sarah nodded eagerly. "Not just dress up, a full makeover, clothes, makeup, hair, the works. Oh, honey, you're going to look amazing. I can't wait to see you all dolled up." My head was spinning. This couldn't be happening. "Sarah, I'm not sure I'm ready with—" "Nonsense," Cassandra cut in smoothly. "There's nothing to be nervous about, dear. I've worked with plenty of first-timers, and I promise you're in good hands. Now, why don't we get started?" Before I could protest further, the two women were herding me toward a curtained-off area at the back of the shop. Sarah gave me an encouraging push. "Go on, sweetie. Cassandra will help you get changed. I'll be right out here when you're done." In a daze, I found myself alone with Cassandra behind the heavy velvet curtain. She clapped her hands briskly. "Right then, let's get you out of those dreadfully dull boy clothes and into something fabulous." She bustled over to a rack of clothing, rifling through the hangers. "Sarah picked out a few options for you. Let's start with this little number, shall we?" Cassandra held up a silky black dress with a plunging neckline. My eyes widened in alarm. "Whoa, hold on. I can't wear that. It's way too revealing," she tisked impatiently. "Don't be silly, darling. You've got the perfect build for this dress." My face flamed with embarrassment as I realized what she meant. I should just tell Sarah I couldn't go through with it, and we could go home and forget this whole thing. But then I thought of how excited she'd been, how her eyes had lit up talking about seeing me transformed. I knew how much this meant to her, and really, was it such a big deal? It was just clothes and makeup. I could handle it for one afternoon if it made Sarah happy. Taking a deep breath, I began reluctantly stripping off my jeans and t-shirt. Cassandra nodded approvingly. "That's the spirit, dear. Now, let's get you situated." The next half hour was a blur of embarrassment and discomfort as Cassandra helped me into the outfit Sarah had chosen. Undies, stockings, the black dress, and a pair of terrifyingly high heels. "Wonderful!" Cassandra declared, guiding me to stand in front of a full-length mirror. "Now for hair and makeup. Have a seat right here." I gaped at my reflection as I gingerly lowered myself into the styling chair. The person staring back at me was a stranger. "Close your eyes and relax," Cassandra instructed as she began pinning and styling my hair. "This next part will take a while, but I promise the results will be worth it." I did as she said, trying to clear my racing thoughts. What had I gotten myself into? What would Sarah think when she saw me like this? Would I even recognize myself when Cassandra was finished? Time seemed to stretch endlessly as Cassandra worked, fussing over my hair and face. I felt the tickle of brushes, the gentle tug as she applied false lashes, the odd sensation of lipstick being smoothed across my mouth. All the while, she kept up a constant stream of chatter, but I barely registered her words. Finally, after what felt like hours, Cassandra announced, "There, a true masterpiece, if I do say so myself. Are you ready to see?" Heart pounding, I slowly opened my eyes. For a long moment, I could only stare in stunned silence at my reflection. The person in the mirror couldn't possibly be me. She was beautiful, stunning even. My normally shaggy hair had been styled into soft waves that framed my face. Cassandra had worked magic with the makeup, somehow transforming my features to look delicate and feminine. Long lashes framed my eyes, making them look huge and doe-like. My lips were a deep, seductive red. "Well?" Cassandra prompted, looking immensely pleased with herself. "What do you think?" I opened my mouth, but no words came out. I was still struggling to reconcile this gorgeous creature in the mirror with my own self-image. "Oh my God!" Sarah's breathless exclamation made me whirl around. She stood frozen in the doorway, hands clasped over her mouth, eyes wide with wonder. "Sarah, I started to say, but trailed off, suddenly self-conscious. What must she think, seeing her boyfriend dolled up like this? But then Sarah was rushing toward me, tears glimmering in her eyes. "Oh, honey, you look absolutely incredible, even better than I imagined." She threw her arms around me, peppering my face with kisses. I tensed, worried about smearing my makeup, but Cassandra just chuckled. "Not to worry, dear. That lipstick isn't going anywhere." Sarah pulled back, drinking in every detail of my transformation. "You're so beautiful," she murmured, running her fingers through my styled hair. "God, I knew you'd make a stunning woman, but this is beyond my wildest dreams." Despite my lingering discomfort, I felt a warm glow of pleasure at her words. "You really like it?" "Like it? I love it," Sarah gushed. She turned to Cassandra, beaming. "You've outdone yourself. Thank you so much." Cassandra preened at the praise. "It was my pleasure, darling. Your boy here makes a fabulous canvas to work with. Now, shall we take some photos to commemorate the occasion?" The next hour passed in a whirlwind as Sarah insisted on capturing my transformation from every angle. She coaxed me into a series of poses, gushing over how natural and feminine I looked. To my surprise, I found myself actually enjoying the attention and praise. "Oh, we simply must go out and show you off," Sarah declared once we'd exhausted every possible pose. "There's this cute little cafe down the street. Let's go have lunch." Panic flared in my chest. It was one thing to dress up in private, but the thought of going out in public like this terrified me. "I don't know, Sarah. Maybe we should just head home," she pouted, giving me her best puppy dog eyes. "Please, just for a little while. You look far too amazing to waste it staying cooped up inside. Besides, no one will recognize you looking like this. It'll be fun." I hesitated, torn between not wanting to disappoint her and my own anxiety. "All right," I relented with a sigh. "One quick lunch, then home." Sarah squealed in delight, bouncing on her toes. "Yes! Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Come on, gorgeous, let's hit the town." As we made our way out of the shop, Sarah chattering excitedly about our lunch plans, I caught sight of my reflection one last time in the full-length mirror. The beautiful stranger stared back at me, red lips curved in a hesitant smile. Stepping out into the bright sunlight, I squinted and shielded my eyes with a hand, wary of my new manicured nails. Despite my nerves, I felt a tiny spark of excitement as I realized this would be the first time I'd be seen in public like this. I straightened my spine, trying to exude confidence. Sarah slipped her hand into mine, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "You ready, babe?" "As ready as I'll ever be," I muttered, feeling my stomach clench with anxiety. I glanced down at my strappy heels, wondering how on earth I was supposed to walk in them without toppling over. With Sarah by my side, I tottered awkwardly along the sidewalk, drawing a few curious looks from passers-by. I felt self-conscious, but to my surprise, no one gave us a second glance. I guess we didn't look that unusual, I thought wryly. As we neared the cafe, my heart started thumping in my chest. I could already picture the stares and whispers we'd attract, everyone wondering what a guy in a dress was doing there. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. But then Sarah gave my hand a squeeze, as if she could sense my apprehension. "You're doing great, honey. Just a few more steps." I forced a tight smile and nodded, focusing on putting one foot in front of the other without face-planting. We reached the cafe and made our way inside. The cozy interior was crowded, with soft jazz music playing in the background and the murmur of conversation filling the air. I felt all eyes on us as we entered, but to my relief, no one seemed to find our appearance particularly noteworthy. We were just another couple out for lunch. "Shall we grab a seat outside?" Sarah suggested, gesturing toward the outdoor seating area. I nodded gratefully, eager to escape the crush of people. We made our way through the cafe to the small patio, where we chose a table in the shade of a colorful umbrella. The crisp autumn air felt refreshing on my skin, chasing away some of my jitters. A waiter approached, smiling pleasantly as he handed us menus. "Good afternoon, folks. Can I start you off with something to drink?" Sarah and I exchanged a look, both of us bursting into laughter. "Folks," she snorted, still grinning as she shook her head. "Yeah, I guess we are." My eyes flicked back and forth between Sarah and the expectant waiter. What did girls even order at times like these? I felt my face flush. "Just water is fine, thanks." The waiter nodded, taking our drink orders before leaving us to peruse the menus. "So," Sarah said, leaning forward and resting her chin on her hands, "how's it feel to be living the dream?" I blinked at her, a forkful of salad halfway to my mouth. "Huh? You know," she continued, rolling her eyes dramatically, "being a glamorous lady of leisure, going to cafes and fancy clothes. You always said that was your dream, right?" I snorted, spraying salad onto the table. Sarah burst out laughing, reaching for a napkin to wipe the mess. "Oh yeah, totally," I deadpanned, rolling my eyes right back at her. "Always wanted to know what it felt like to be stuffed into a dress." We collapsed into giggles, drawing amused glances from the tables around us. I felt a warm flush spread across my cheeks, but it was a good feeling, better than the anxiety and self-consciousness I'd been battling all morning. Between giggles, Sarah squeezed my hand. "Seriously, though, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Do you want to go?" I took a moment to gather myself, suddenly feeling incredibly grateful for this crazy woman sitting across from me. "I'm good," I assured her, squeezing her hand back. "It's actually kind of fun." "Fun?" Sarah raised an eyebrow, grinning. "So you're not dying to tear off this dress and burn it along with your heels and wig?" I regarded her for a moment, considering. "Well, maybe not burn it," I hedged, earning a playful punch on the arm from Sarah. "Hey, it feels pretty nice. Expensive fabric, right?" She laughed, her eyes sparkling. "Glad to hear it. But seriously, if you want to bail, I totally understand. It was a lot to throw at you all at once." I paused, taking a moment to consider my feelings. "No," I said firmly, meeting her gaze. "I want to see this through. This whole experience is interesting, and if it makes you happy, I'm willing to give it a shot." Sarah's smile softened, her eyes shining with warmth. "Thank you," she said quietly, reaching across the table to take my hand. "It means a lot to me that you're open to trying new things, even if they're a little out there." I squeezed her hand gently, knowing how much this meant to her. "For you, I'd try just about anything." The waiter returned with our drinks, sparing us from any further intimate conversation. As he placed our glasses on the table, Sarah shot me a mischievous grin. "I think we're ready to order now," she said, winking at me before turning to the waiter. "I'll have the salmon salad, please, and we'll need a few more minutes for my friend here." The waiter nodded and turned to me expectantly. Crap, I hadn't even looked at the menu yet. Flustered, I quickly scanned the options, hoping to find something that wouldn't end up smeared on my face or down my dress. I think I'll have the tomato basil soup." The waiter nodded, looking only mildly interested as he jotted down our orders. "Also," Sarah piped up as he turned to leave, "could we get a bottle of your finest champagne?" His eyebrows rose in surprise, but he quickly schooled his features into a neutral expression. "Certainly, ma'am. I'll have that right out for you." As he bustled away, I turned to Sarah, one eyebrow arched. "Champagne? Really?" She shrugged, a mischievous smile playing at her lips. "Why not? We're celebrating, right? This calls for something special." I shook my head, smiling fondly at her enthusiasm. "You're something else, you know that?" Her smile turned impish. "I try." The waiter soon returned with our drinks, including a fancy bottle of champagne cradled in an ice bucket. He efficiently popped the cork, filled our flutes, and left us to our meal. "Cheers," Sarah said, raising her glass. "Cheers," I echoed, clinking my glass against hers. We drank, the bubbly liquid tingling on my tongue. I wrinkled my nose at the slightly bitter taste, but I had to admit it did feel kind of sophisticated, like we were characters in a movie toasting our adventure. "So," Sarah said, setting down her glass with a twinkle in her eye, "tell me, how does it feel to be a lady?" I almost choked on my soup. "You mean besides the dress-up?" She snorted, grinning. "Yeah, besides that. Do you feel different? Is there like a secret sisterhood or something you're now a part of?" I swirled my champagne, considering. "I mean, I can't say I feel that different. Well, physically, obviously." I gestured down at my body, feeling a bit surreal. "But mentally, I'm still me. Same old thoughts and feelings." Sarah frowned, looking perplexed. "So there's no, I don't know, secret instinct or desire to, like, go shoe shopping or gossip about celebrities?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Sorry to disappoint, but nope. No sudden urges to redecorate our apartment in pastels or adopt a dozen kittens, either." She pouted in mock disappointment. "Darn, I was hoping I'd gain a shopping buddy out of this deal." "Well, you might," I conceded, spearing a chunk of tomato with my spoon. "But that's a risk I'm willing to take." We laughed, drawing a few curious glances from nearby tables. Sarah's eyes sparkled with mischief as she leaned forward, lowering her voice conspiratorially. "Okay, but tell me this. Do you feel nicer? Like, do you get why women's clothing and makeup can be so empowering?" I paused, considering her question as I took another sip of champagne. It was true that I felt strangely confident in this getup, despite my initial misgivings. The way Sarah was looking at me with that heated, admiring gaze definitely didn't hurt. Honestly, I hedged, setting down my glass. I do feel different, empowered, maybe. Like I could walk into a room and command everyone's attention, just by being me. Sarah grinned broadly, her eyes sparkling with delight. "That's amazing. So you do get it? The whole feminine mystique and all that?" I laughed, feeling a little embarrassed. "Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not sure one afternoon in heels and lipstick qualifies me for the mystique." She reached across the table, taking my hand. "Maybe not, but you're more than qualified in my book, and I think you look amazing." I felt a warm flush spread across my cheeks as I squeezed her hand gently. "Thanks, that means a lot coming from you." Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.